now present For the Record with Neil Heinen.
The Madison Children's Museum is expanding its access programs, and the Madison Circus Space is expanding, period. Updates on both are next on For the Record. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Heinen. Some of you may be surprised to hear we even have a circus space in Madison. We do, and it's great. And later in the show, Circus Space administrators and performers will talk about new space for the space. But we begin with one of Madison's best-known and beloved cultural assets, the Madison Children's Museum. This place of wonder and exploration, of learning and sharing, is committed to access, and with the help of community partners, it is growing access programming. I'm pleased to welcome to For the Record Madison Children's Museum President and CEO Deb Gilpin and CUNA Mutual Group Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Angela Russell. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
How much fun to talk about the Children's Museum, right?
Of course, yes.
So what do we need to know? This emphasis on access, I think, is really fascinating. I saw some video that really struck me because it was parents, and the first thing they said was, you know, I didn't think of the Children's Museum for this age or for my family.
Yes, well, access is really important because it means we can have an equitable community where all children can come and gain these skills. And access is just one piece. It's the economic barrier that will help everyone come to the museum. But the reason to come to the museum is what really matters, the value that people gain from it. So our mission is for children to connect with their families and the world around them and themselves through discovery, play, and learning. And we do that by staging these different activities. So building skills that are critical thinking skills, being curious and experimenting and having it work and having it not work, and being able to tell people about what you did, and then also building relationships with them, with their friends that are there with them, with people they don't know. One of the #1 things we've heard from people in the community is they want to have this safe place where their child can play with children they don't know. I had a dad tell me once that he brings his daughter to the museum because so she can learn how to be a friend. She's an only child, and she needs those skills. And that's really key, one of the key things we do there.
I mean, don't you think it's part of it is that people don't know what the museum experience is? So, I mean, if they think of it as just, okay, I'm going to take my child there and we're going to look at stuff.
Right. It's very different.
That may be where the disconnect comes in.
Well, and we address this. I've been in children's and science museums for a long time, and invariably I'll ask someone with a 2-year-old, have you been over to the Children's Museum yet? And they'll say, oh, there probably isn't anything there. I'll go when she's older. And we attacked this. I challenged our staff, we have to solve this. And we created a program for first-time parents. So it's that, you remember when your first child, you're hungry for information, you're isolated, and you don't know where to go to get help with that. So we created this membership that's free up until the baby's 18 months, and we bring experts in who visit with the parents while they're visiting. We created play groups. So we've got families from different neighborhoods all over the region who are playing together, exchanging phone numbers, getting to know how each other lives, and it's really a wonderful dynamic.
Angela, the list of community partners is just amazing. I mean, there are just dozens and dozens of businesses supporting the Madison Children's Museum. But why was this a good fit for CUNA Mutual?
Yeah, so for CUNA Mutual, we have been refining our overall philanthropic strategy over the past year or so. And what we've become to realize is that we want equity to be at the center. And we're using the Race to Equity report and community dialogue that's been happening for many, many years before the Race to Equity report came out, and talking about how we need to reduce the educational and economic disparities in our community. And we think that the Access to Everyone program does just that, with a focus in on early childhood education and experience. Sometimes we think about, there's a conversation at our foundation board meeting on, is this about arts and museum, or is this about education? And quite frankly, it's about both, and exposure to quality early learning opportunities. So it's right in alignment with what we're trying to do.
How would you describe the barriers that communities of color feel in having access to an institution like the Children's Museum?
Well, I think that the barriers are both financial, and there's this notion of, is downtown Madison a place for me? And I think the Access for Everyone program makes it known that it is a place for everyone. to grow and have opportunities to engage in places that may not feel necessarily inclusive otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of so many things downtown that don't feel as inclusive as they need to be. It's interesting to think of the Children's Museum as maybe an entry point to a more inclusive downtown.
A lot of our work is based on evidence that we look at all over the country, and children's museums are known as the gateway drug to other cultural organizations, to downtown amenities. We started a teen workforce program, and we work with low-income kids of color all over the community. And in the early research of the first kids we worked with, we've been doing this for 6 years now, 70% of them said they had never come to the square. Their families don't come downtown. And now their families visit, their siblings see their brother or sister working in the museum. They've become long-term staff. It's changed the culture of those neighborhoods. We're really proud of that.
Yeah.
The Madison Children's Museum has done a lot as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I first learned about the work that they were doing at a Madison Area Diversity Roundtable meeting when Sandra came and presented their overall plan. So the way that you're thinking about it is really comprehensive and holistic, which could be a model for a lot of other organizations downtown.
And it sounds to me like the idea of access for everyone has grown to new programming, and I want to talk about that when we come back on For the Record right after this.
For the Record, sponsored by MG&E, your community energy company.
Dear Max, Bear, Spike, Daisy, Buster, and Pork Chop. Let's go to the dog park, swimming, hiking, out for treats, and to sleep. Hugs, Highlander.
Right now, you can get $2,000 customer cash on a new 2019 Toyota Highlander. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
At McDonald's, we make mornings brighter, from Beloit to Marquette. For instance, say you're going to go up north to the lake. Well then, 2 delicious breakfast burritos and any size McCafe brewed coffee or icy cold soft drink for only $3.50 is the perfect way to wake. We'll make your morning brighter with 2 breakfast burritos and any size McCafe brewed coffee or soft drink for just $3.50.
Now go.
What were they seeking?
To know if it's better to have all or nothing.
And?
I said it can be great luck to have all or nothing.
You didn't mention bonus days?
$2 all or nothing bonus days from the Wisconsin Lottery. All or nothing players have a 1 in 10 chance of receiving an additional bonus ticket. You didn't tell them that?
Well,
Next time, send them to the wiser one.
Here's to all of you with building in your blood. As you sweat through the sawdust, collect your battle scars, put pride in every detail, you're building dreams. And at Chase, we've always got your back. With quality supplies, service, and fair prices you can count on. From the Chase Lumber family to the family of Wisconsin's builders, we'd like to say thank you. Here's to you and all we do together.
I'm back with Deb Gilpin, who is the president and CEO of the Madison Children's Museum, and with Angela Russell, who is the vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion at CUNA Mutual Group. And CUNA Mutual is a big supporter of the Madison Children's Museum's Access for Everyone effort, which I think, we want more people to know about, just in terms of a term that access to everyone is a real priority for the Children's Museum. So what might people look for in the future here?
Well, there's definitely the element of getting in the door, the economic barrier. But the other thing we know that we work on a lot is transportation. We have support for school groups to come. We have a new-ish program called Meet Me at the Museum, and it's working with particular partners who, they have clients that have confidence and trust them to say, let's all go on down and check that out. And so we support bringing very particular populations in the community that we think are not visiting. So we go out and look at our market. CUNA Mutual Group has helped us do that research about where those markets are, who we're missing, and then we find a way to help open those doors for them. And that awareness is a reason we do this big annual push about the Access for Everyone program to get that message out. So we've grown. Our Access for Everyone program has grown by leaps and bounds in recent years, although it's also always been pretty significant. One of the things we did was look at what are some of the other barriers. Transportation is one. Another one is the eligibility criteria, and asking people to show their documentation. And we did a really bold thing, which was to stop asking for people to pull out their papers and show them in front of their children that, oh, I can't afford to come in here. This has been noticed nationally that we're doing this. It produced a surge, and we marketed it as well. So we marketed it in many languages around the city, and it's produced this big surge in our access population and really reached into communities we weren't serving before.
I thought it was interesting, Angela, Deb mentioning CUNA's support here is not just financial, but that you were able to use some of the assets of CUNA Mutual's work to help with some of the research that we're doing.
It's really a two-way street. So we see our community engagement as a partnership, not just us providing resources, but it's about shared learning and shared opportunity and really helping the community at large. So we feel honored to be a part of the Access for Everyone program.
I've always liked, too, Angela, that CUNA Mutual's commitment to the community typically represents the employees and what the employees are interested in.
Yeah,
and my guess is
does.
to have the company associated with the Children's Museum is kind of a nice fit for a lot of employees.
It's fantastic, and we see that the work that we do with the community really does help our employee base stay engaged with what we are trying to do as an organization overall. So Access for Everyone is really great. And we also have a lot of young parents at CUNA Mutual Group too, so having them learn about the Children's Museum and being able to engage there is wonderful as well.
Well, it's an interesting time because there's this baby boom in Madison. I'm not sure. In the coming years, there's a projected growth of 6% a year in babies, and this is the millennials in Madison, and they come now for some of our adult evening programming, but they're teed right up to bring those first babies.
It's never too early to bring your baby in there. And then fundraising is just kind of ongoing, I suspect.
It's ongoing. This Access for Everyone has an expense of about $500,000 a year, and we are really dependent on people contributing toward it all year round. Really transformative gifts like CUNA Mutual's gifts have made such a difference. This year, that leap in service was possible because of that support, and incredibly meaningful to us and to those who benefit from it. And we depend on that, along with the other way companies help us. So the other partners I want to mention are the nonprofit and agency partners. So we have over 200 partners a year. It's 17 departments at UW. It's Goodman Community Center, the YWCA, Centro Hispano, and each of those help us understand their populations and also bring resources and programs that are educational for the visitors.
Deb and Angela, thanks very much. I enjoyed the conversation. Now, when we come back, Madison Circus Space, which is another asset in this community. And we'll be talking about that right after this.
More people are switching to Ram than ever before because Ram gives you more towing, more luxury, more legroom, and more deals with up to 20% off MSRP on America's most awarded pickup. The all-new Ram 1500. Hurry in for big deals during Ram Truck Month.
Now get 20% off MSRP on select all-new 2019 Ram 1500 models in dealer stock.
I was confused with AT&T's different packages, DirecTV's contracts, and which internet speed was right for our devices. But I found my way out thanks to Spectrum. With Spectrum Internet, my family can connect and stream videos at the same time with no data caps.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for $44.99 a month for 12 months with internet starting speeds of 200 megabits. That's 2 times faster than AT&T. Call 1-855-588-5483.
Spectrum TV has our favorites like BET, Bravo, and ESPN.
Switch to Spectrum TV with over 125 channels, including free HD and on-demand for $44.99 a month. Call 1-855-588-5483.
Plus, with the Spectrum TV app, we can watch live TV on our mobile devices. So glad we switched.
How hard was it to switch?
One call, one bill. And the best part, no contract. Spectrum will even buy out your current contract up to $500.
I'll switch too.
Break free and switch to Spectrum Internet and TV for $44.99 a month each. Call 1-855-588-5483.
Byron, Blake, and Braxton have always had the same exact taste. Until now.
McCafe Strawberry Banana Smoothie.
McCafe Caramel Frappe. A Coke?
Right now on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu, get 2 classic cheeseburgers for just $2.
Finally, a value menu that values your choice.
Hey everyone, it's that time of the year again, garage sale season.
Oh, I love garage sales.
I know you do, but so do scammers.
We have some advice on how to avoid scammers, recalled products, and more. That's coming up Monday morning.
We'll see you then.
Is it time to step up your fitness game?
I actually just had my baby, and I was looking to get a little bit more in shape.
How to find a program that works for you.
Really, it's about moving in any way, shape, or form that they can.
Monday on News 3 Now at 10.
Madison Circus Space is the largest collection of circus artists in Wisconsin. It has 70 members, 50-plus hours of weekly programming, and 12 public activities per month. The space is moving, and that's good because it is also growing in size and an impact on the regional arts scene. I'm pleased to welcome to For the Record Circus Space Director of Development, Stephanie Richards. Stephanie's also an aerialist, an instructor and producer, and a member of Madison Circus Space. And Josh Casey, Director of Building Development, founding board member, and a professional comedy juggler. Welcome both to For the Record.
Thanks for having us.
So several years ago, I was taking a class, I think, to visit Sector 67 on Winnebago Street, the makerspace. And there, lo and behold, was Madison Circus Space. It's the first time I had seen it. And I think for people who haven't seen it, they would just be amazed. Talk about kind of the origin of Madison Circus Space.
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, 2012, there were a few jugglers, hoopers, aerialists, German wheelers, and we all knew each other, and we all kind of rented space around town to do our activities. And we thought, you know, what if we got together and created our own space that we could get in anytime we want and teach classes and practice our activities. And then we ended up renting that warehouse that you popped your head into.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and it kind of looked like a combination, you know, learning space, gym, with a circus theme. An interesting combination of things.
Yeah, people come to us looking for all sorts of things. Like for myself, it's my physical fitness. So I was looking for a way to exercise that was fun and just sort of counted as exercise. And I found aerial arts 9 years ago. And so when the Madison Circus Space opened, I thought that's the place where I can work out. That's the place where I can make my art and find community. And people come to us for that and more.
Is it important to define circus? I mean, I think so many people have an image of what the circus is, and whether it's animals or clowns or the big top, certainly aerialists, but it seems a little more modernized now.
Yeah, we are super connected to circus history while we celebrate sort of contemporary circus as it's evolving and it's sort of expanding art form. And
a big part of what we have as a space is so people who are interested in circus arts, they can kind of bring their own interest to it. So if they're interested in performing and they want to see that as an outlet for performing, the space is there for them to sort of bring that to themselves. Or if they're into it because they just want to become an acrobat, or they want to train, or they want to just have the social aspect of it. So they can have a lot of different ways to come to the circus arts.
Are the 70 members from all over the state, the region, or, I mean, are they typically Madison?
Most of them are within Dane County. Yeah.
And who are they? I mean, 70 people who are interested in circus arts.
Yeah, it's everyone from, you know, we have a lot of sort of recreation level members who, it's like a gym membership. They come in and maybe they're a juggler, maybe they're an aerialist, and they kind of use it as their gym membership. But then we have other people who are training at a very high level and spend part of their year traveling out of the country to train at other circus schools. And Madison's their home base.
So you're moving. You outgrew the space.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been operating sustainably since we opened 6 years ago and growing at a very steady rate. We started with...
Member-supported?
Member-supported entirely.
Okay.
Yeah. We started with 12 members, and now we're up to 80, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm short by 10. You grew since I wrote the open.
Well, that's true. We have, yeah. And so we've been steadily outgrowing our space and steadily increasing the number of classes that are offered and the number of performances that we share. And we've been needing to grow into a bigger space for some time now.
And so that move, then, now you've exceeded member support. Now it's time for the community to support it.
Yeah, we are so proud to have raised $786,000 entirely from community support, including $110,000 in grant funds.
Part of which came through the matching grant at the Madison Community Foundation.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's a big deal that the Madison Community Foundation saw the Madison Circus Space. They choose, you know, who they're going to support, and they don't support everybody.
Yeah, we're very proud to have their support.
So talk about the new space. Where is it, and what does it mean for Madison Circus Space?
So the new building is actually almost right next door to where our original space was.
Okay, on Winnebago.
Yeah, so our where we were at, the warehouse you saw, that got torn down as part of a new development there. Right. But our landlords that own this property and we're going to develop it, they wanted to keep us, they wanted to find a way to develop the property but keep Madison Circus Space there because they thought we were a big asset to the community.
Yeah.
And so we worked it out. We bought part of the land, and we started construction on our new, much larger facility. And it'll be a 10,400 square foot warehouse with 40-foot ceilings in the main room that can accommodate high-flying trapeze and all kinds of other activities. And we'll be able to have multiple rooms so we can have different types of programming happening at the same time, expand children's programming, and all kinds of cool stuff.
How many public performances do you have?
Well, over the last 6 years, we've produced at least 24 public performances.
Okay.
Yeah. And in our new space, we're hoping to get on a regular schedule.
So like evening events, an hour and a half kind of thing, and a number of performances.
Yeah, and it ranges from sort of member-produced sort of community theater-style shows. A member might say, hey, I have an idea for a show, you know, a theme of cats, and it'll be this whole thing, and we'll, you know, it's like, great, do that, that's awesome. But then we also host out-of-town performers. Last weekend, we just had a couple from Philadelphia, professional artists passing through. They were in Chicago at a festival there, and they knew of the Madison Circus Space, and we were able to host their show at our space, which was really special.
Any connection to the schools yet? I mean, this seems to me an opportunity for young people to look at circus arts in an interesting way.
Yeah, so as we've been growing, we've been working on community partnerships and working with neighboring community centers in our neighborhood and East Madison High School. When we found out our building was going away and we had to put all of our energy into the new space and fundraising, we've maintained some partnerships, but we're so excited that in our new space we'll be able to really dig in and establish those partnerships, especially for youth.
Are you the only circus arts space in Wisconsin, or just the biggest?
Well...
And are there others nationally that you're in communication with? Yeah. That this is sort of you know, an industry?
So one of the real, I think, rare things about circus is that most facilities, most organizations that we're familiar with either rent space or they own space that's retrofit. So we are one of just a few facilities in the country that are permanent and designed for what we do.
Right. I mean, it feels like a good fit for those of us who know the history of circus in Wisconsin and the Circus World Museum and how much that's part of our history.
Yeah, and the whole thing is it's very much Madison, and people always say that from out of town. It's like, wow, this is very much a Madison kind of thing to have this nonprofit, volunteer-run organization that is for circus artists. And it's great to be part of that story.
I mean, it kind of feels to me like you've kept kind of a lower profile. I mean, you didn't do a lot of publicity around events and things. Would one expect that to be ratcheted up a little now with the new space and new resources?
Well, the cool part is we haven't needed to market in the past because classes filled up, our show sold out with very organic advertising, social media.
Can't beat that.
We now have a marketing committee, entirely volunteer run, and we're excited to expand our marketing efforts.
Website with descriptions of performances and things that people can go to and learn from.
Yeah.
And then in terms of continued fundraising, I mean, how much more do you need to raise?
We are $214,000 short of our $1 million goal.
Okay. So, and that you hope will be individual contributions and just people coming online?
We're closing in. When we said, all right, we need to raise $1 million to pull this project off, you know, none of us had any fundraising experience or and we just kind of said, hey, this is it. We got to dream big and just go for it. And we're closing in.
Has this become a full-time job for you guys? I mean, you went into it with personal health and interest and that kind of thing. All of a sudden, you're business people.
Yeah. It's been a really fascinating experience, especially for my side of it with the actual design of the building and saying, okay, this is the footprint of the building. How do we want to use the space? How do we want to divide it up so that it's useful for our activities? And just kind of designing this building has been really cool, and working with all the the whole processes of how you design a building and develop, and working with the city and architects and engineers and all of that. Yeah, it's been fascinating.
And I think more people will recognize that Madison Circus Space is part of sort of the cultural infrastructure that we have here, right?
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Yeah. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
I invite people to visit the website and to come visit Madison Circus Space. I think it's great that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to come back and wrap up For the Record right after this.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, laminate, and even hardwood 75% off. Empire makes getting beautiful new floors easy. See samples in your home, get a free estimate, and have your floors professionally installed. Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
For the past 40 years, the pulse of the city has been found within these pages of Madison Magazine.
I've been a subscriber to Madison Magazine for about the last decade. Madison Magazine is one of the few places in town where you can read long-form journalism about the stories that really do impact the greater Dane County area.
Madison Magazine is the region's most influential publication. Every month, our team works so hard to deliver the best in food, dining, arts, culture, politics, and business.
I love Madison Magazine for the in-depth topics. You'll be able to read more about camping, the arts, sciences, topics that make Madison a great place to live.
Don't miss out on the pulse of the city. Subscribe today at MadisonMagazine.com. I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison. Cheers.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
My thanks to Madison Children's Museum and Madison Circus Space guests, and to you for joining us. We'll see you next week on For the Record.